want to talk about Kobe Bryant, and the only way I want to talk about him is when it comes to the life and death of Kobe Bryant. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I don't know how many times I went over and over and over and over and over again in my head about how it began and how it ended. And you know, because here is where I don't want it to, but here is where I look at, like, if I threw the basketball up, right, in 1978, and when I was in the gym, right, and Kobe Bryant was born that year, you know, like that. Now, I wouldn't make too much of that, but when Kobe Bryant died, I looked at it more closely, because when I made the accident with Kobe, I was 41 years old. And when Kobe died at the age of 41 in an accident. And so what you see in common was the accident and the age of 41. Like, that's what you see in common. And so if that is his death, then what about me throwing the basketball up? And he's born the same year. And you look at that and you say, well, if I do the basketball up and Kobe Bryant is born that year, are you saying that when I do the ball up, Kobe Bryant was born? When I made the accident on Kobe Bryant and Kobe Bryant dies in an accident, at the same age I made the accident. And you would say, did I have control over his life, him being born and him dying? Did I have control over him being born and him dying? And the only thing that I would go with is did I have that much power to do those two things? Like, say if I threw the ball across the court you know, and I'm at way past half court, and I throw the ball out at the court toward the basket, and then a future basketball player was born. Did me throwing the ball up toward the basket, create that? Did I have that much power to create a future basketball player? Not his birth. I'm talking about create a future basketball player. Did I have that much power to do that? And then I looked at, did I have that much power to make the accident with Kobe at the age of 41? And Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. Did I have that much power? And you would say, if those two things happen, like, and it has something to do with me doing that. Like, if I threw the ball up in 1978, I had something to do with that. And when I threw the ball up, Kobe Bryant was born that year. And so you would say, okay, he's born. And then I had power to create a future basketball player because I threw the ball up. And I'm only looking at, did I create a future basketball player? I'm not looking at his birth because his mother had him, not me. I'm not looking at his birth. I'm looking at, did I create a future basketball player? Because if I throw the basketball up way past half court, and it goes all the way across the room into the basket in 1978, and then 1978, a future basketball player was born. Not only that, he shows up in my dream, and then I make the accident with him and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that, did I have the power to create a future basketball player? Not him being, not his birth, because his mother and father had him. I'm talking about create a future basketball player. And the reason I say that, because I did a basketball across the room. And I'm only going with the basketball stuff because it started with me, with the basketball. And so I asked myself, did I create a future basketball player? In 1978, when I threw the ball up, I'm way past half court, and I threw the ball up toward the basket, and it goes in. And that was 1978. Now, in 1978, Kobe Bryant was born in 1978. Right? And I asked myself, did I have the power to create a future basketball player? And why would I say that? Because not only was he born in 1978, Kobe Bryant was also in my dream. And that I made a future accident with him. And he dies in an accident. That's why I asked that. And because Kobe Bryant, I asked myself, did I have the power to create a future basketball player when I threw the ball up? Did I have power to do that? Did I have a power? When I throw the ball, I'm way past half court, and I throw the ball up towards the basket, and it goes in. Did I have the power to create a future basketball player? Not his birth. I said a future basketball player. And the reason I say that, because it started with me with the basketball. Right? And when Kobe was born, that's why I say that I had the power to create a future basketball player. Right? Not his birth. I said a future basketball player. And the reason I just stick with the basketball thing, because I had the basketball in my hand when I threw it across the room. Right? Right? Now, did I have the power to create a future basketball player? Did I have, and then I could look at, I can only look at because I had the basketball in my hand, and then Kobe was born, and he became a basketball player. Right? He became a basketball player also. But then I also look at, did I have any power in Kobe Bryant being born? Could I have that much power with Kobe Bryant being born? Like I can like throw the basketball up, and I have this power with my hands based on the basketball. If Kobe Bryant is born that year, like, did I have anything to do with that? And I was like, well, no, because I'm looking at his mother and his father created him, and I'm like, how could I have power over him being born in 1978? Even if his mother and father had him, they had sex and they had him. Did I have anything with him being born that year? You know, I already know that it's possibly that I had something to do with him being a future basketball player. Future basketball player when it came to me throwing the ball up. I could look at that. But I went a little closer and say, did I have anything with him being born that same year? Not his birth. Like, what I mean, like, because his mother and father had sex. And so it created Kobe Bryant. I'm not talking about that. I wonder if I had anything with him being born that same year I threw the basketball up. Like say if his mother and father was pregnant they got pregnant or whatever. How could I have anything to do with the year that he was going to be born? I don't know anything about that, but I don't know anything about that, you know, like that. Could I? Did I have power to know that? I mean, did I have power? Power, period. Did I have power, period? I imagine that Kobe Bryant's mother was pregnant, and she went through the 9-month period, you know, trying to give birth to him and stuff like that. I imagine that she did do that. But I was like, did I have any power to him being born that same year? Because when I threw the ball up that year, Kobe Bryant was born that same year. And the reason I'm looking at that, because if I had the power to make the accident with Kobe at the age of 41, Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. So you kind of see this, that power, like, in a sense, because it had power to make it a carbon copy. Like, if I made an accident with Kobe Bryant in 2003, based on him and Bill Cosby, and it was an accident choosing Kobe. And when I chose Kobe, I was 41. And Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. And you kind of say, like, what we had in common, me and Kobe, in 2003 was the accident and the age of 41. And so I wonder if I had power to create Kobe being in an accident and him dying at the age of 41. Did I have power to do that? Because the reason I said did I have power, because when I made the accident with Kobe, I was 41 years old. When Kobe Bryant died in an accident, he was 41 years old. How do you explain that? And I wonder if I had the power to create the Kobe's death. And the reason I say that is that, okay, if I had the power to create Kobe's death based on the accident was in, I made the accident with him, and I was at the age of 41, and he dies in an accident at the age of 41. So you could see it was like a carbon copy. And I was like, there has to be some type of power that created the carbon copy of it. There had to be some power to create a carbon copy of that. And when I look at Kobe Bryant being born, there had to be some type of power. When I threw the ball, when I was way past half court, and I threw the ball toward the basket, and it goes in, and Kobe is born, and he became a future basketball player. How do you explain that? Did I have a power once I threw the ball way across the room into the basket in 1978, and a future basketball player was born in 1978. How do you explain that? And I wonder if I had the power, once I threw the ball across the room into the basket, that I had a power to create a future basketball player. In 1978, when I threw the ball across the room into the basket. Not only that, did I have power to create to have him born in 1978 as well. Did I have power to make him born in 1978? Did I have power, once I threw the ball across the room, to create a future basketball player? Because what happened was, that's exactly what happened. And when I looked at making an accident at the age of, when I was 41 years old, and I made the accident with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. And so I looked at the power thing, because it was like a carbon copy of, and I was like, did I have the power to do that? And like that. It was like, when I threw the ball across the room, it was like my hands, and then based on me making the accident with him, and he dies in an accident at the age of 41. I mean, you kind of see both things that were in common. I made the accident with Kobe Bryant at the age of 41. And Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? I mean, to me, it was like a carbon copy. But how do you explain that power to create it like that? How do you explain that power to create it like that? How do you explain that it was a carbon copy of the same thing that I did in 2003, and it happened in Kobe Bryant's life in 2020? How do you explain that? If I made an accident with Kobe Bryant, and when I made the accident with him, I was 41 years old, and that was in 2003. When Kobe Bryant died in 2020, he died in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? Because I'm looking at the power thing, because again, it started with me making the accident, and I was at the age of 41, and it seemed like a carbon copy showed up when I made the accident with Kobe. I was 41 years old, and that was in 2003. But it showed up at it was the same way. And when Kobe Bryant's real life situation, he died in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? And the only thing I can come up is with power. Power. I had the power to do that. If I had the power to throw the ball across the room and way past half court, and 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 he was born that same year when I threw the ball up. Not only that, he became a future basketball player as well. How do you explain that? And then I had the power to create a future basketball player. Not only that, then I had the power to him being born that same year. Then I had power of him being born that same year. Not between his mother and father had sex, because I think his mother and father had sex and had him. But what I'm saying is that did I have any power to create a future basketball player? And did I have power enough to make sure that he was born the same year that I threw the basketball? Did I have that much power? I don't, in a way, I think I did, because that's exactly what happened. And then when I look at when I made the accident with Kobe and I was 41 in 2003, and Kobe Bryant died in 2020 in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? And I was thinking, like, it had to be some type of power connected with that in order to make that exact. It had to be some type of power to make that exact. Like, you know, I don't know, like, how could I, throw the ball up and he's born. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. But I kind of looked at Kobe Bryant's mother and father, because they the one that had sex with, and created him. But I'm still trying to figure that out. But how do you explain, throwing the ball up and he becomes not only that, he's born in 1978, he becomes a future basketball player. How do you explain that? You think I had power to do that? Do you think I had power to do that? Yeah. Do you think I had power enough to throw the ball across the room and create and Kobe Bryant was born that year, and he became a future basketball player? How do you explain that? By me throwing the ball across the room and all of that, did I have power enough to create a future basketball player when he was born? Did I have that much power? Like, did I have that much power? I'm still trying to look at that, because it seemed like it was like, I mean, when you kind of look at it, you say, it seems strange looking, but it also let me know that, and this is where I talked about the power stuff. I had to have some type of power because God used my hands to throw the ball across the room, and you use your strength of power to do that. How did I know that? I didn't know that once I threw the ball up and there was going to be a future basketball player being born once I threw the ball up. I didn't know anything about that. But as I look back at it, that's exactly what happened. As I look back at it, as I look at what took place, he was born and he became a future basketball player. How do you explain that? And the question is, did I have power enough to create the future basketball player? Did I have power enough to create a future basketball player? And like that. Like that. Like that. And did I have power to duplicate the accident that I made with him? And he ends up in an accident at the age of 41, just like it was in 2003. When I made the accident with him, I was 41 years old. When Kobe Bryant died in 2020, he was in an accident and he died at the age of 41. How do you explain that? And here is where I think power came in, because I had the power. Power had to duplicate that. I don't think it was just by osmosis. I don't think it was. If I made the accident at the age of 41 with Kobe Bryant, if I made the accident, and I'm at the age of 41 when I made the accident with Kobe Bryant, why would it show up and 17 years later in Kobe Bryant's life? He dies in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? And I don't know how many times I went over and 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 over in my head about that. Because the only thing I can think of is power. Did I have the power to create that? Once I made the accident with him at the age of 41, I was at the age of 41. Once I made that, it showed up in Kobe Bryant's life. He died in action at the age of 41. How do you explain that? And the question is, did I have the power to create the same thing that happened in 2003 and in 2020? Did I have the power to create what happened in 2003 and 2020? Did I have the power to create the same thing that happened in 2003 and 2020? And the only thing, and I would say yes, because it started with me in 2020. And the same thing when I think about when Kobe was born in 1978, it started with me by throwing the ball up. And he was born. So, and he was born. And he became a future basketball player, by the way. And so I would think I did have the power. Like, I did have power to create a future basketball player. You know, and him being born. He was born that year. Then I'm still unsure about did I have power to create Kobe, him being born that year, not his birth. I'm talking about him being born because his mother and father had sex, you know. But him being born that year, did I have any power over that? I'm unsure about that one. But that has something to do with him being born though. And then when I think about his death, it was like a carbon copy. You know, like that. And I was like, how do you explain that? That you know, even if I was given power, like, I mean, if I throw the ball across the room and way past half court and it goes in, and a future basketball player is born, how do you explain that? And you know, and I started with the basketball. How do you explain that once I threw the ball across the room, that it was going to create a future basketball player? How do you explain that? How do you explain that? And it has to have some type of power connected to it in order to create that. I had to have some type of power in order to create that. Like just because I threw the ball across the room didn't mean that it had to create a future basketball player. But that's what it done. And if I had power to do that, you know, it makes me wonder if I had power to, in 2003 when I made the accident with Kobe, and I was at the age of 41, and then in 2020, Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? And it was the same exact thing that happened in 2003, happened in 2017. 2020. The same exact thing happened in 2003, happened in 2020. How do you explain that? 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 You know? How do you explain that? It was like a carbon copy of what happened. And it makes me wonder if Kobe is born, then was that a carbon copy also? Because Kobe, if I threw the ball up and into the basket way past half court, and a future basketball player was born that same year. A future basketball player was born that same year. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? And the only thing I can say is power. I had power to do that because it duplicated what I did at the time. Did I think I was a basketball player at the time I threw up the basketball? No. I just threw up the basketball. That's it. But did it, once I threw the basketball into the court, did someone born who became a future basketball player? Yes, it was Kobe Bryant. So how do you explain that? How do you explain that when I threw the ball up at the court and all that stuff, and Kobe Bryant is born the same year that I threw the basketball up, and that he became a basketball player. How do you explain that? It had to be some power connected to that to create that like that. It had to be some type of power in order to create that, like that duplication. Like if I throw the basketball up and in the gym that day, and then a future basketball player is born. What's in common was the basketball. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? So it had to be some type of power connected with that. It had to be some type of power connected with that. And the same thing when I made the accident with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant, I made the accident with Kobe Bryant and I was 41 years old in 2003. And the same thing happened with Kobe Bryant in Kobe Bryant's life in 2020. He was in an accident and he died at the age of 41. How do you explain that? The same exact thing happened. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? And the only thing that I could come up with is had power. Power can only create that. Power can only duplicate that. There's some type of force that can only create that. The same thing. And the same thing when I throw the basketball up and he becomes a future basketball player. Only some type of power can create that. And he used me to do that. Like, and used me to throw the basketball up, you know, to create the future basketball player. To create a future basketball player by me throwing the ball up. Now, when I made the accident with him, and I was at the age of 41, and Kobe Bryant dies in an accident at the age of 41. How do you explain that? There had to be some type of power connected to make that duplicate that. It was like a exact copy. How do you explain that? It had to be some type of power connected to that. Like, you know, it had to be some type of power connected to that. And that's not only like with Kobe Bryant. If I made the accident with my nephew, he dies in an accident. Like, and there had to be some type of power connected to that. When I made the accident with my nephew. I made the accident with my nephew. And he died in an accident too. Like, how do you explain that? There had to be some type of power connected to that. Like that. Like that. And the only thing that I could come up with is not that I don't think I'm a murderer. I don't think I'm that. But the thing that I strongly look at is premonition. Because first it shows me that, you know, I did the ball up and stuff. Little did I know somebody was going to be, that Kobe was going to be born that year. I didn't even know that Kobe was going to be born that year. But that's what happened. And he became a future basketball player. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? And what type of power? Or what? It had to be some type of power connected to that. Because he became a basketball player. Even when I just threw the ball up. I'm not a basketball player. But I threw the ball up though. And then it creates a basketball player. A future basketball player. How do you explain that? How do you explain that it happened that way? How do you explain that? How do you explain that? And to me, it had to have some type of power to do that. It had to have some type of power to make the exact same thing. Like, it had to have some type of power to create the exact thing. Same thing. Like, and the only thing I can come up was premonition, you know. I don't know, I don't think that I really had power. I mean, maybe I did and just didn't know it. You know, like that. But once I threw the ball up and did it create, was a future basketball player born? Yes. Yes. And then when I made the accident with him, and he died in an accident. How do you explain that? Like, it was like the same exact thing happened. When he was born and when he died. The same exact thing happened. Like, how do you explain that? It had to be some type of power that created that, like, to make it look like a exact copy. It had to be some type of power that created that to make it an exact copy. Like, it had to be some type of power that created it to look like an exact copy. Like, if I make the accident with Rick, right, and Rick died in an accident, how do you explain that? It was an exact copy. Like, if I made the accident with Rick and Rick died in an accident, it was an exact thing. I made the accident with Rick, and Rick died in an accident. How do you explain that? And it had to be some type of power that made it duplicate like that. And the only thing that I could think of, it was premonition. You know, like that. If somebody told me go play the number, and I went to play the number, and I hit. Like, how do you explain that? There had to be some type of power connected to that to make me hit. There had to be some type of power connected with that to make me hit. If somebody told me to go play this number and I go play it, and I hit. There had to be hit on that number. There had to be some type of power connected to that in order for me to hit this exact number. Like, there had to be some type of power connected to that. You know? How could, you know, how could that be? How could I have that much power? Or was it just a premonition? You know, how could I have that much power? Like, you know, and stuff. I don't think I have. If I do, I did not think that I did. If I do, I didn't think that I did. You know, and back in when it happened, and I still don't think. I mean, maybe I think in some ways I still think I do. You know, but I did not recognize it until later. But I didn't know back then. You know, like that. I didn't know back then. You know, and you can't, you know, because I don't want to claim that I have power. And it could be it could be just premonition. I don't want to say that I had the power. I would say, was it just premonition? Premonition could be a power of its own. Doesn't mean that I had to have the power. But did it duplicate? Did that power duplicate itself based on me and Kobe? Yes. Did it duplicate, you know, when I threw the ball up and stuff like that? Yes, because Kobe became a future basketball player. And how do you explain that? How do you explain that? I still trying to wrap my head around. Again, I don't think. You know, on one hand, I think it's probably premonition power, but I'm not sure if I had the power. I think it's probably premonition power, but I'm not sure if I had the power. You know, because premonition can be a power of its own. That doesn't necessarily mean that I had it. Premonition can have a power of its own. Like, and stuff like that. But I must admit that it went through me though. That power, or it was created through me though. Even if premonition has its own power, but it used me to exercise the power thing. Like, it used me to exercise the power thing. You know, like that. You know, like that. And why does it have to use me all the time? And, you know, to exercise the power thing. Like, yeah, if I made an accident with Rick and he dies in accident, I mean, like, it was I made the accident with Rick and he dies in accident. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? How do you explain that though? It's what I'm saying, and it's not just with that. It's numbers and stuff like that. You know, I see numbers attached to it. It can be. It don't necessarily have to be. It could start with a number. Also, it could just start with a number, and you kind of see how it connect. You know, like that. But again, I think it's. I do think the exact thing happens, and I think power is in the center of it, because it makes the same exact thing happen. There has to be some type of power to make the same exact thing happen. Like, and why does I have to be at the center of it to make it happen? And I think God used. It has to be like he has to use me to exercise the premonition though. Like, you throw the ball up, a future basketball player. If you make an accident, a future accident. If someone told you play your number, you hit the number in the future. You know, stuff like that. It was always, you know, you would think power is connected to it because it made the same exact thing happen. Like, it was power to it. Some type of power to it. And again, I'm not sure if the power, I think the power had worked through me. I'm not sure if, I wonder if premonition has its own power. And it used me to work it through, but I'm not sure if I exactly had the power, is what I'm saying. I'm not sure if I personally had the power. I wonder if premonition has its own power, and he just used me to work it through. Like, it just used me to work the power through. But I wonder if premonition has its own power, like that, and use me to work it through. Now, did I have the power to make the accident on Kobe? I mean, what I'm saying is this. I made the accident with Kobe at the age of 41. I did. And Kobe Bryant died in an accident at the age of 41. Now, did I have the power to kill Kobe Bryant? Did I have the power to do that? Because it was the same exact thing. He died in an accident at the age of 41. Did I have the power to kill Kobe Bryant at the age of 41? Just because the same exact thing happened in 2003, happened in 2020. So, did I kill Kobe Bryant based on that power? You know, like that. Did I have the power to kill Kobe Bryant? You know, again, I'm not sure of that. But did premonition have the power to repeat it? I don't know. I understand that I did make the accident with him. But what I'm saying, okay, here's the thing. If I say, okay, I make the accident with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant dies at the age of 41. So therefore, that Kobe Bryant was going to die in an accident at the age of 41. Okay, and that did happen with Kobe. Now, when Kobe Bryant died in an accident at the age of 41, and I sit and say, did I have control over the helicopter? To kill all those people that were in there. Like that. Did I have control over that? The helicopter. I mean, someone else was controlling the helicopter and all that stuff. And driving the helicopter. I don't think I was in the front seat. Is what I'm saying. But did that happen? Did the same thing happen in 2003 when I made the accident with him? Happen in 2020? Yes. Did I kill Kobe Bryant? I don't know if that happened. But could it have been a premonition? Like, could it have been a premonition? Like, say, like, when I made the accident with Kobe Bryant, consciously, I did not know that Kobe Bryant, when I made the accident with Kobe Bryant in 2000, at the age of 41, in 2003, I did not know that Kobe Bryant was going to die in action. I did not know anything of that when I made the accident with Kobe in 2003 at the age of 41. I did not know that Kobe Bryant was going to die. When I made the accident with Kobe, I did not know that Kobe Bryant was going to die in an accident. In the future, I did not know any of that. But did that happen? Yes. But did that happen? Yes. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, I did not know that was, at the time that I made the accident with her, I did not know Kobe Bryant was going to die in an accident. But did that happen? Yes. And yes. And I wonder, like, if premonition, for one thing, I didn't even really know Kobe Bryant, and I never wanted anything to happen to him or my nephew when I made the accidents with them or anything. I would never want anything to happen to them at all. But I wonder if it was premonition. Like, consciously, I didn't know that once I made the accident with them that they was going to actually be in accidents. I did not know. I didn't even know at all. But did that happen? Yes. The both of them. I made accidents with the both of them. And they both died in accidents. Like, and I asked myself, did I kill them or was it premonition? Did I actually know that once I made the accidents with them at that time, did I know that they was going to be in accidents? No. But that's what happened. And, like that. And I'm sitting there like, but then I also thought that could I have not know that it would be premonition. because I made the accident with them, I don't think I knew at the time that I made the accident with them that it was premonition. Because I don't think I set out to hurt anyone, for that matter, let alone kill them. But I wonder if not even knowing that at the time that I made accidents with them, that they was going to be in an accident, and that they were going to die. I had no idea of that. You know, like that. I had no idea that that's what was going to happen with them. No idea. And I wonder if it was premonition from the beginning. If I know that I never intend to harm them or anything like that, was it premonition? I did not know that any of them, once I made the accident with the both of them, that they was going to die in an accident. I did not know any of that. But could it have been a premonition, though, that's what was going to happen in their lives? What was that a premonition that's what was going to happen in their lives? And you know, like that. And it may very well have been, because again, consciously, I did not know when I made the accident with them that they was gonna die in action. I did not know. Nothing. I just knew that I had made the accident with them, but I did not know they was gonna die in accidents. And but did that happen? Yes. But could it have? The thing I looked at was that going to happen anyway if I didn't make the accident with them? Was that going to happen in Kobe Bryant's life and my nephew's life without me making the accident on them? And the reason I say that is this: if that was true, if I made the accident with my nephew Red, and if it wasn't going to be true, God would have stepped in. Like it's, say if God wanted to really save Red or Kobe or all the people that was in the in the helicopter with him. If God did not want that to happen in their lives, God could have intervened at any time. Like if that was never going to happen in their lives, like God could have intervened and saved them. And just this is what I'm saying. I wonder if it was premonition that even if I never made accident that was going to happen anyway. It was going to happen anyway. You know, and again, God could have intervened and stepped in and saved Kobe and all those people that was in the helicopter and my nephew from dying. But God did not do that. So I wonder if it was premonition all the way. That was what was going to happen anyway. You know, like that. I wonder if that was going to happen anyway. Because if God did not want Kobe to die, he could have intervened at any point and saved Kobe. Just like my nephew. And I wonder if I did not know consciously that they were going to die in accidents. I didn't consciously. I didn't even know it. Was it designed that way and just didn't even know it? And I just didn't even know it. Was it just, even if I made the action with them, was it designed that way and I just didn't even know it? Like, it was designed that way, you know, and just didn't even know it. It was designed to happen in their lives. And at the time that I made accident, I just didn't know that. You know, they did. But was it designed to happen that way? I think it was, because, again, God could have intervened at any time to save them. Like, if God did not want them to die, He could have intervened at any time to save them. And not just them, the other people that was in the helicopter with him. Like, and I didn't even know those other people. You know, and stuff like that. You know, if Kobe, you know, if Kobe wasn't in that helicopter by himself, he was there with other people. If you say I'll target Kobe, but what about the other people? I didn't even know the other people. You know, and stuff like that. So I think it was premonition all the way. I just you know, I think with Kobe and my nephew Yvette, I think at that time, those two times, that I did not think, based on dreams, they were based on dreams. And Kobe and my nephew, they were based on dreams. That's how I ran across Kobe and my nephew. They were based on two other dreams that I had. It was more about figuring out which one was the person in the dream. They were more about the dream between Kobe and Cosby, and then my nephew and Anthony. And they were based on dreams. They wasn't just based on any old thing. No, they was based on dream. But did I know? I know now not to do that now. I think at the time that I did make the accidents with Rhett and Kobe, I did not know what to look for. I did not know how to examine the dream and stuff like that. I know now, but not when I made the accidents with the both of them. And therefore, I know now not to do that. But at the time, I didn't. And I think that's why they were considered accidents. It wasn't something that you know, you just set out to do or anything like that, maliciously or anything like that. I think they were accidents. But here's the thing. I wonder also, was they going to die in accidents anyway? You know, like that. You know, like that. Again, I did not know all those other people that was in the plane with Kobe. I did not know other people in the plane with Kobe. Even if I made the accident with Kobe, there was other people in the helicopter with him. Are you saying that I was supposed to harm them too? I don't think it's like that. But again, why didn't God put Kobe by himself then? If I made the accident with Kobe and Kobe dies in accident, why didn't God make it whereas Kobe was by himself? Like, if I only made the accident with Kobe, why was there other people in the helicopter? And see, that's why I say I don't think it was you know, for me to harm those other people. I didn't even know those other people. You know, like that. So I think it was premonition all the way. I think it was premonition all the way. Like say, if the person say, you know, play play a number, and I go and hit the number. Now, do you think that that I had something to do with organizing that I'll hit? Yeah, you know, I don't. You know, if someone told me to go and play it, and I would say, hey, I don't want to play it. You know, I want to play a number. I want to play a date. You know, just that and the other and all this stuff. Do you think that if why did God use someone else to give me the number? You know, and stuff like that. You know, if I wanted, even though I chose which way I was going to do it, but he didn't specify how to do it. He just said go play it. He didn't say how I should play it. You know, but again, you know, it's like I say, hey, I don't want to play a number. I want to play a date. You know, I played a date and I hit. You know, because he didn't specify how to do it. If I had went and played the number, I would have lost. You know, and shit like that. So, you know, if I had went and just played the number, and you know, I would have lost. But again, I think it's premonition all the way. And again, why would I want to harm my nephew? Why would I want to harm Kobe? I mean, you know, I really didn't know he, you know, Kobe, you know, really, I knew he was married, had children or whatever, but I did not really, you know, but I still think that I never intend to cause harm to anyone. I don't, you know, hurt people and do all kinds of crazy shit to people and all this shit. No, I never was like that. But I do think it's the premonition, and it's not just with that. I had premonitions about singers through the signals. Are you gonna say I meant to hurt them too? You know, and stuff like that. And these are my favorite singers. Like, and I got signals about them. Are you saying that I wanted to hurt them too? You know, and stuff like that. So again, it was the same way. He showed me. He said, you know, Whitney Houston dies. In the future, that's what happened. Are you saying I killed her? Are you saying I killed her? See, that's what I'm saying. It was premonition. It just showed, it told me that. I at first I didn't believe it, but did that happen? Yes, it happened. I got a signal that said Whitney Houston dies. It was written just like that. And I was like, I don't know if I want to believe this. You know, like that. But did that happen? Yes. About 6 months later. It happened. Did I really believe that at first? No. I was like, if that is true, it's gonna show it to me. And guess what? It did. And so after that, I realized that signals came true. And I challenged every signal after that, and it still came true. About many people. You know, like that. So I you know, again, it showed me in the beginning, and then it showed me in the future. It was like a carbon copy, like Kobe. You know, Kobe. I made the accident with Kobe. It shows me that. I mean, I made the accident, and in the future, Kobe dies in accident. Like that. It still was the same thing. The signal shows at like that too. It give me something to go with, and then it'll show me in the future. And it shows up at that with a whole. It shows that like that in dreams, signals. Cosby, African American male who's famous for sexual assault. That was a dream, and it shows up in Cosby real life. Now you're gonna say that I did that to Cosby? Are you going to say that I did that to Cosby. If the dream say African American male who's famous for sexual assault, I still don't know who it is yet. The TV is turned sideways so I couldn't see it. So I don't know who it is yet. No, but the two persons that came up was Kobe and Cosby. But I made the accident with Kobe, picking Kobe. And it was an accident. And Kobe Bryant died in accident. But with Kobe, with Cosby, it showed up in Cosby's real life situation. Cosby was the actual individual, by the way, who the dream was really about. But it still showed up in Cosby's real life situation. Are you saying I planted that on Kobe? I mean, in Cosby? Are you going to say that I planted that on Cosby to show up in Cosby's real life situation? No, Cosby did that shit. What the dream told me was true. It was true. All of it's true. Everything that I get, it shows up true later. Everything. Everything. And it shows up true later. Like, I really didn't know whether to believe it or not when I first got them, and you know, I just say, well, just see if it come true later, you know, like that, and it did, all of it, all of it, not some of it, all of it, you know, and I don't have to, the thing is that the thing I look at was the power thing. Now, was it power based on premonition, or was it power that I had? That I had the power to say that Cosby was going to be an African American male who's famous for sexual assault? Did I know that Cosby was actually going to be up for sexual assault? No, because it didn't show me the picture of who it was going to be. I just knew it said African American male. I didn't know who it was going to be. But did it show up in it showed up in Kobe and Cosby's real life situation? But Cosby was the one that actually it was about. Now, are you going to say that I had the power to create that in Cosby's life? I don't think that I had the power. Again, I think it was premonition. Premonition has the power, not me. God will work the premonition through me. But did I actually have the power? I think the premonition has the power of its own. It doesn't, it just works its way through me. But do I think I have the power to, you know, it's hard for me to believe that I had the power. I think the premonition has the power. And you know, like that, I think the premonition has the power, not me. Because again, I didn't even know who it was going to be. Cosby, you know, I didn't even know who. You know, the thing was that I didn't even know if I had all this old great power. How come I didn't know it was Cosby? Why did I have to choose between him and Kobe? If I truly knew that Cosby, African American male who's famous for sexual assault, if I truly knew who that was, I wouldn't have to make the mistake with Kobe. I didn't have to make the accident with Kobe. I already knew who it was, you know, and stuff like that, because I did not know. Again, I think it's premonition. I don't think it's something that, I don't think it's something that I just set out to just do or whatever. But I do think that the day was going to happen anyway. like Cosby was going to be up for sexual assault anyway. Even if I got the dream of African American male who's famous up for sexual assault, even if I got that, I think it was going to show up anyway in Cosby's real life situation based on what the fuck he was doing to women. I think God just used me to exercise the premonition to see if I was going to guess. But I think with Kobe, it was again. At some point, it became between Cosby and Kobe. And I chose Kobe because Kobe was the first one. But if I had waited, I would have looked more at Cosby. When Cosby came up for sexual assault, I would have looked more at Cosby. But because Kobe was the first one, that's why I chose Kobe. That's the only reason why I chose Kobe. I would have never chose Kobe. If it came down to him being, if Kobe and Cosby showed up at the same time, which one would I have chosen? It probably would have been Cosby. Because, like that. Because I really didn't know much about Kobe. And I was like, because Cosby was my favorite comedian, I would think God would use him more than he would use Kobe. And I think didn't really know how to examine dreams and stuff. And I just took the first one that came along. And that happened to be Kobe. And that's why it was an accident. And Kobe Bryant ends up in an accident. Kobe Bryant was an accident. And that's why Kobe Bryant ends up in an accident. Because he was the wrong person. Like that. He was the wrong one. He was the wrong one. And based on that power, I still think that God knew ahead of time that I was going to choose Kobe as the accident. And did God know ahead of time that Kobe was going to be an accident? Probably. Probably. I didn't know it. But God did. He probably knew. Was Kobe Bryant going to be in an accident anyway? God probably knew that. Along with me making an accident with him. I think it just sized up just the same. If I made the accident on Kobe and Kobe Bryant dies in an accident. Now, are you saying I killed him? Or was Kobe Bryant going to be in an accident anyway? And stuff, and it probably, I think it went like that. Kobe Bryant was going to be an accident anyway, just like my nephew. Like that. They was going to be an accident anyway. Without me, I think it was premonition. I think it was premonition. I don't think I've set out. Why would I want to kill my own nephew? But again, I think it was premonition. And again, even though I made the accident with my nephew and Kobe, was Kobe and my nephew going to be an accident anyway? And I think so, yes. Because again, if God did not want them to die, he could have intervened at any time. With my nephew and Kobe and those other people in the helicopter with Kobe. Even if I made the accident with Kobe, why was those other people in the helicopter with him? I only made the accident with Kobe. Why is those other people in there? So therefore, I think it was. I think it was premonition. I don't think it was something that you just. I think they was going to be. They were going to die in accidents anyway. I think it's just so happened God used me to exercise the premonition. Like, did I know that they was going to die in an accident when I chose them? No, but that's what happened. I did not know that when I made accidents with Kobe and Yvette, I did not know that they was going to be in accidents and die. I did not know that. But did they die in accident? Did they have accidents and die? Yup. And I wonder if it was premonition. I wonder if it was premonition. And again, they was based on dreams. That's why Yvette and Kobe came up, because they were based on dreams. They were based on dreams. It wasn't based on just regular stuff. It was based on dreams. And stuff like that. So, Kobe and my nephew was based on dreams. It wasn't based on just making accidents just to be making accidents. No, it was based on dreams between my nephew and Anthony and Kobe and Cosby. And those dreams, they were based on dreams, not just making any old accident on people. No, they wasn't based on just making any old accident. No, they were based on dreams. Kobe and my nephew was based on dreams and choosing which one. Like that. It was based on dreams. But again, I think I really didn't know how to look at dreams at that time, and I think it was an accident, choosing Kobe and Yvette. Was that truly going to happen in their lives anyway? You see that it truly was going to happen in their life, because it did. Could God have had, if God did not want that to happen in their lives, He could have intervened at any time. But it happened. Did I know that was going to happen in their lives? No. When I made the accidents with them, did I know that was going to happen in their lives? Nope. But it did. And I wonder if it was premonition. Was there a premonition made by me about their lives? Like that. Was it a premonition made by me? Was there a premonition that they was going to be in an accident? Did I think, not consciously, but by me making the accident with them, did I make a premonition about their lives? Anthony and Kobe, did I make a premonition about their lives? And that sure enough happened in their lives. Did I know that they was going to be an accident about the time I made the accidents on them? Nope. I did not know that they was going to be accidents. But did that happen? Yep. The both of them. And the only thing I can say, it had to be premonition. Because I wouldn't want to do that to, hurt them in any type of way. Anybody, for that matter. It had to be premonition. All the way. Just like throwing the basketball up. I didn't know that once I threw the basketball up, that it was going to, a future basketball player was going to be born. I had no idea that a future basketball player was going to be born. I had no idea. I thought I was in the gym minding my own business. Like that. I thought I was in the gym throwing the ball up, minding my own business. I did not know that when I threw that ball up, a future basketball player was going to be born that same year. I had no idea. But did that happen? Yes. Not only that, that future basketball player shows up in my dream, and I made the accident with him. So, again, you know, I think it's premonition all the while. I did not know anything, you know. I did not know, you know, when I got signals about singers and stuff like that, I did not even know if it was true. But did it come true? All of them came true. Did I know that they was going, the singers, Whitney Houston was going to die? No, when I first got hers, I thought it was a lie. But was it a lie? Nope. It was true. It was true. I didn't even know if it was going to be true. But did it come true? Yep. About 6 months later. Like that. See, and I had no idea. And that's why I say it was premonition. Premonition. You know, like that. And I had no idea of anything. You know, I just got a written signal about her. I said, Whitney Houston, I said, I don't think this is true. And, you know, like that. But did it come true? Yep. It came true, man. And I think hers was the first. Hers was the first that came like that. And then many others came like that too.